Hello everyone, it's Jenny Sayud here, and guess what? It's Ladies of Justice Wellness Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you tuning in repeatedly, or if this is your first time, please message the person who invited you to this link or to this audio so that we could get you on our mailing list. We can put you in a raffle as we do giveaways weekly. Now, not everybody we feature here on Ladies of Justice Wellness Wednesday is partnered with Legal Shield in any way. It's just a woman of faith, a woman of empowerment who's connected to our network somehow, and I get the privilege of speaking with them, getting to know them, and really pulling out the best story for the season that we're in or the day that we're on to share with our Ladies of Justice Wellness Wednesday platform. Our guest speaker for this week, for those of you who joined us the week that I had shared my personal testimony, and thank you again for chiming in to do that. I didn't know vulnerability is definitely something I value, but it's not something easy to do at times. So I thank you for bearing through my ugly cry with me. But I shared a lot, and I didn't plan for that to be the case. Whatever really came out of me came out of prayer, it came out of diligence, and just came out of me as it came out of me. So thank you so much for tuning in on that day. But I did want to just share with you guys another woman who has a heart for single moms. It just, as I finished that week off, she just popped into my head, and I wanted to have her share really her passion, her vision is being seeded and built right now, and her name is Ruth, and she has just been such a pleasure getting to know here the last couple of months, and you'll hear about that here in a second. But she has, as a single mom, she has such an amazing story, and that's why I wanted her on this platform here with us on Ladies of Justice Wellness Wednesday to share what her vision is for this organization that she has seated. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Ruth.
Well, take you back to 2013. I found myself a single mom, pregnant with my fifth child. And I didn't have a job at that time. I was substitute teaching, so I had something because I have a degree in elementary education. My dad had a feeling to encourage his daughters to get their education. For whatever reason, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and so I was for 10 years until my husband decided to choose a freer life. But I did find myself a single mom of 5 kids. So at least I was able to bring in some income with substitute teaching, but I didn't know who would hire a pregnant woman. I was going to give birth at the end of December. So I wasn't sure where my life was going to lead at all. But I did know that year in 2013 that I was not going to make this year the worst year of my children's life, that their dad just left us. So I fundraised and took my 4 kids to Disneyland. It was my first time. I was pregnant in Disneyland with 4 little ones, 10 and under, 10 to 2. And we got to be in California for 2 weeks. And I set a goal, and we fundraised and made it happen. And then when my baby was born, Christmas Eve of 2013, she's my little gift that helped us heal in many ways. When she was 7 months old, about 7 months old, I found out that my kid's school librarian had retired. And I was like, oh, maybe I can be a librarian. And so my kids are like, okay, because all my kids like to read. I figured if I can get 4 kids to read, I can get any kid to read. And so I became their part-time librarian, and I realized, oh, this is the perfect job for a single mom with so many kids. I'm going to go back to school. So I went back to school with 5 children. The youngest one, 7 months old. I was still nursing her through the night, and to get my master's in library information science. And so while I was in studying, I had to do some assignments in libraries, of course. And I went to the main library downtown the big, beautiful one we have. And as I was walking through the courtyard to get to the Hawaiian section, I saw this mother sitting on the side with, I think, 3 children. And the first thought that came to me was, why aren't these kids in school? And I was chastised. And I got the feeling that she doesn't know what to do. She's a single mom and has no idea that she is in a place full of knowledge and answers. She has no idea what to do. The library is her safe place. And that's when I knew I needed to help single moms, because I was educated, because I knew what to do. I was able to take my kids and make a goal and take them to, some place that most people only dream about. Because I always dreamed of going to Disneyland and never got there. And then here I am working on my master's in education, and I have the resources. I know where to look. I know what to do. I know how to budget. I know how to cook. I know how to take care of myself so that I can become better and I can do more. And so it was just that feeling, Ruth, you need to help. You need to help these women because they have been through so much. Because I was in emotional and sexually abusive marriage, and I didn't know it. I didn't think that was possible to be married and be abused in that way. And so I had come out of this really bad situation. And during that time, I always, a lot of people go, why me, why me? And I knew that was a wrong question to ask God. So I asked him, what do you want me to learn? His answer was to help other women. And he said, there are going to be many more women that go through the things that you have gone through. And they need to know that they'll be okay, that I am here for them, and that they will be okay because of your example, because you did it. And as they watch you, they will have that glimmer of hope to know that they will be able to make it and things will be okay. So, I've had those feelings from, I think it was maybe 2014, 2015. And so I was able to graduate with my master's. And I didn't get a full-time job right away. I met my second husband 9 months after we were married. I get a call from Child Welfare Service asking me if I'd taken his nephew and niece. I guess they knew that I was the more responsible one. And so the babies were 14 months old and 3 days old. So straight from the hospital because the mom and dad both were on drugs. So I, being a family person, I said yes, even though I had just started my first full-time job as a librarian. I said yes, and I took the 2 babies in. Then my second marriage didn't go very well. So I found myself a single mom this past November with 7 kids. I left him. So I took his nephew and niece with me because they're in the foster system, and I was the one with a roof and beds. So now it's looking that I would probably be adopting the 2 babies. Possibly in October, the parents will lose their rights. It'll be almost 3 years that they've been in the foster system and with me. So for me, the right thing to do is to adopt them. And so with that in mind, I've been a mother of many kinds. I've been from stay-at-home mom to working mom, single mom, foster mom. My knowledge of different types of moms is broad. And I just had this strong feeling to create a nonprofit organization that helps the women that want a better life, but have no idea where to turn, where to go, how to do it. And one of the biggest issues is childcare. Who's going to take care of my kids when I go back to school? Who's going to take my kids when I go to work? Who's going to watch for my kids? I don't trust these people. So my vision is to have a facility where everything is in one place. So they live there. The child care is right there in the building. so that they can drop them off to go to work, or they can drop them off to go to school, whether it's night school or day school. There's someplace safe where their children will be, and is right there. The commute is cut. The commute, getting places. A lot of single moms can't even afford a car. I don't even know if some of them have license. So, to cut all the challenges out and to have it all in one place, so that, if they had to do homework, they have some place for the kids to play and be safe. But I'd also want them to be educated. So I'd have budgeting classes, I'll have cooking classes, I'll have resources right at their fingertips. So, if you have ever been on welfare or needed extra assistance, it's really difficult filling out the paperwork, waiting. And so I'd like to bring these people to the facility so they can make appointments and it'll all be right there, just to help them move forward, to get out of the system and to change their life, not just for themselves, but for their kids. So even simple things as soon as they get there, create a dream board, to make a vision, and to do everything to head towards it, and to know that people believe in you, that you can do it. That's valuable. When you're alone, you don't feel anybody got you. Some single moms have families, but not all do. And some of them might be because, they committed a sin, sin, having a baby out of wedlock. Now the family is ashamed of them. But, we make mistakes, and God forgives us. And so I just want to be that path where we can come out to be our best selves, because every child has a dream. Every child wants to be something big. I work at elementary schools. You ask any kid, what do you want to be when they grow up? They can give you an answer. But as we get older, we feel we have all these walls. And it's not true. We don't have to let the walls keep us from being who we truly are. And that's kind of my vision. And right now, I have a side business that is called Amari Global. It's a mental wellness company. And it's all natural supplements to help fix the gut and the brain and the axis so that we can be our best self. And people don't realize that when your gut is unhealthy, it affects your moods, depression, anxiety. And so Amari has been helping me to be my best self, because if you can imagine, a single mom of 7 kids, there's a little stress involved. And times that I can't do it. I have something that kind of lifts my moods, helps me to focus, gets me back centered, because sometimes my mind can't get there alone. I have to physically need something because my body's deprived of certain nutrients that when you're depressed, you ignore the needs of your body. And so that is something else that I would incorporate with my nonprofit organization, because so many women are so depressed, have anxiety, have PTSD, and Amari helps with those issues, and to help us get back on the path and to take care of ourselves first before taking care of our children. Our children need us, and we're their light, we're their example. That's what they see. So I know I rambled on a lot. So sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It is so important. I mean, I think a lot of people can at least know someone who was a single mom or raised by a single mom, and it's unfortunate that that's the case, statistically, but not everybody can relate to the situation, especially if it was emotionally, physically, or mentally abusive. And I know that's like a whole nother topic in itself. Marriage is a whole nother topic in itself. Just as a single mom, what's one thing that you maybe didn't realize you treasured as much, but now that you've kind of gone through this, like 9 years, right? What's something that you never thought of, but now you think of so much during this learning process? as a single mom?
I think the biggest worry as a single mom is being able to do everything by yourself, especially providing financially. Because the last thing you want for your children is for you guys to be homeless, and to not be able to give your child the best life, and that's all I want for my children. And a lot of times I think, because I grew up in a home that we're poor, and I remember my mom crying about us being poor, but I had a mom and a dad. I always had a roof over my head, and I always had food. So I didn't feel, of course, there's some things I wanted that I couldn't get, but I had what I needed, and I lived a very innocent life. So for my children, it breaks my heart that I have to go through the things that sometimes I feel that I put them through. And it's not their fault at all. It's not their fault that we're struggling financially. It's not their fault that their family isn't together, And it's just wanting the best for your children in any way or form. And a lot of times, moms do this whether they're married or single. Am I good enough? Am I failing as a mom? And I think we get hard on ourselves a lot.
Well, it's an amazing story, and I know sometimes it doesn't feel like it is an amazing story, but again, like you had said, right? It's. I don't necessarily think God puts us through situations, but He doesn't let us go through things He knows we can't handle, and it is for the reason to be able to share that testimony with someone who, again, like you shared, right, is gonna experience this and maybe even worse, and hearing that someone, just as what they may think ordinary, but really is an extraordinary story of perseverance and strength and courage. And again, I shared last week, I have such a heart for single moms, and I shared, I was actually reluctant to share my mom that whole testimony that I had shared, because she's very like, oh, don't talk about me to, don't post pictures about me and all this. But I shared it with her because I really wanted her to just know my appreciation. And she said some great, incredible, encouraging words, just whether it be via text, and I don't think some moms realize, how strong their words are to their children, whether they're hearing it directly or indirectly, and no matter their age, okay? Because I'm in my 30s, and even more so when they're younger children, is just remembering, saying great things over your children, whether or not they can hear you, but people hear, and then they hear the edification, indirectly. It just brings up a child totally different. It's just like words of affirmation, but it's more speaking a blessing of your children, and that's a whole nother conversation in itself. Right? But thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing your story and for being vulnerable and for sharing your vision. And I know that I'm going to be cheering you on the sidelines as you kind of build this up. And I've known Ruth just a couple months or less, a month and a half or so. We're in the same business coaching course, and I just have met such amazing women through this course. So I thank you so much for sharing your story, your heart, your life, because this is going to be forever on the internet now, so people are going to be encouraged through your story, whoever has ears to hear, right, and eyes to see. So appreciate you, Ruth, and everything that you do and the time that you were able to carve out as a single mom to be on this call.
Thank you, Jenny, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Again, thank you so much for tuning into us here at Ladies of Justice Wellness Wednesday. Give it the person who invited you onto this call so they can share more with you about what Ladies of Justice is through the platform of Legal Shield, if that's about our products or services or just getting connected to this amazing group of women. We have calls that are similar to this, led by hundreds of other women on the mainland, and all of them take a little bit of a different twist to Ladies of Justice, but this is what it's really turned out to be here on the islands of Hawaii, and I know there's going to be more growth to come. If you are interested in learning more about what Ladies of Justice is in partnering with our services or with our opportunities, please get with the person who invited you, and they can direct you to additional Zoom calls that we host that are more focused in that direction, or to a live event or social that we'll be planning here shortly as, again, restrictions are being lifted. But thank you again for tuning in. My name is Jenny Sayud, and we hope to see you on our next LOJ Wellness Wednesday call that we will be having every Wednesday, 11 o'clock Hawaii time, here on HawaiiLSZoom.com. Have a wonderful day. Aloha!